having a draw to finish the season with. A better performance perhaps than last week at Crawley. How satisfied were you with the performance?
Yeah, we're much better than last week. I must admit we were way ahead of where we were last week in terms of what it was. But I thought our quality in the second half was poor, and we didn't really get going in the second half. I thought we could have been better, taking touches, making sure that we're just doing the simple things. And I think we tried to complicate it a few times, and then we were disappointing to concede in the I don't know where 11 minutes come from. It is what it is. It's a good draw. It's a reaction to what was a poor week last week, and now we'll look forward to a summer and getting back at it in pre-season.
Before the summer kicks in, you've got big decisions to make about who you retain, who is going to come to the club. Have you made up your mind? I'm not going to ask you who you're going to keep. We'll find that out in the coming week. But have you made up your mind about who you're going to keep and who you will move on?
Yeah, well, the discussions will probably go on for the next 48 hours, 72 hours, if I'm honest, Tim, because you swap and change your mind, yay or nay or whatever. But yeah, look, you'll hear it this week, but sometime in the middle of the week we'll probably put out our list who we want to keep, who we've offered contracts to, who we're retaining, and who will be leaving the club. So look, it's an exciting time for the club now. We've got a chance now to build on what we've done this season, and what we'll be doing is looking to see who's the best for us to make us a better team, because we've got to, I want to be getting up and looking up at the table. I don't want to be in and around the bottom four, if you like, coming into the last 5, 6, 7, 8 games, and putting the pressure. I want to be looking up and trying to get into that, the higher echelons of the league. So that's my drive. That's what I want to do, and I've got to make sure that I drive that with my staff, and my staff then drive it to the players, and we achieve that, and that's what we're looking for.
And have players been able to convince you in the last couple of games that they deserve a new contract? Have they still been, as it were, on show?
You can never ever take it off 1 game or 2 games. It's got to be over the 4 months, and then obviously I've got to respect the staff who I had already in here, and take a lot of what they've seen, because they've seen a lot of the ugly before I come in as well, and seeing who are the leaders and everybody else. So there's lots and lots to talk about with all my staff, and I'll be taking all that into account. But obviously the book stops with me, so I've got to make sure that I get them right, and it's what I want, and what I'm looking forward to, and what I've seen, probably in the last 5 months, will it be now, or 4 months?
Four and a bit, yeah.
4 and a bit months. So but really good for them, I must admit, and I thank all the players for that, because they've responded to what I wanted.
Yeah, I guess you've got some tricky conversations coming up there, haven't you? Because you will be saying goodbye to some players.
Yeah, of course, and that's the nature of football. That's what happens, and that's why I become a manager, because them conversations will be had. But look, the ones who will be leaving, they'll be going with my blessing, and they can always give me a call whenever they need it. So, and they'll be told that. So, but as I said, look, lots of discussion in the next 24, 48, even 72 hours, before we actually, start offering or people will be leaving.
Tarek Foster is one of those who's out of contract. He's got a terrific goal today, wonderful assist from Guinness Walker. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when you have the conversation with him, Kevin, as to whether he has a future here at Sixfields.
Yeah, he's a character, isn't he?
He certainly is.
Yeah. No, he's a fantastic goal. But we know the quality Tariq's got. He just hasn't shown it as much as possibly he would have wanted, and what we'd expect. So it's a conversation again. You know what I mean? And we'll be having that, and we'll be honest with each other, as we have been since I've come in. And he's been honest with me. I've been honest with him, and he knew exactly where I stood with him. So, and what I'd say is that his attitude and his application over the last month or so, after we left and after the couple of squads, has been tremendous. So, and I've been really pleased with that.
What about a couple of other players? James Dadge, you gave a Cobbler's first team debut to this afternoon. He came on for Lee Burge. How much of that was a kind of sentimental recognition of Dadge's service here as a part of the youth system? He's going to be here next season, but Dadge, we know that. How much of that was a kind of end of season sentimental gesture?
Oh, listen, Dadge's been doing well. He's responded to a lot of work what I've asked Alex to do with him, and we spoke about it during the week. Would we then put him on, and I wanted to see what he was like, how he reacted, how he handled the pressure, because it is pressure when you go. It's totally different to when you're playing the 21s or you're playing for the 18s. It's different, And yeah, I'm pleased that he went on and thought he kicked really well. Obviously he had a couple of moments, but all goalkeepers do and all players do when they're starting out. What I want to see now is I want to see a reaction for him to be hungry and get better, and an attitude to get better and work hard, because as a young goalkeeper, when you don't really get these opportunities normally, so he's got to take it on board. And what he's got to do is got to add to it, and how he adds to that is by working hard and training and showing and trying to push himself, because you've got Bergie on next year, and he's got to push Bergie as far as he can. He's got to do that.
Yeah, a couple of your loanees went off towards the end, Perry and Taylor. First of all, about Terry Taylor, he picked up an injury, didn't he, which forced him off. What's the nature of that? Is it a serious one?
Yeah, I'm not too sure how bad it is. Yeah, he just felt it. But look, we don't want to be sending people back with injuries. And that's the same with Ben. He had a gash on his head, a bit of a nasty gash. But I just said get him off and let's get it sorted to and seen to as quickly as possible. So
yeah,
for me that was just making sure that we look after them. So that they go back, hopefully in full health to the parent.
And the ovation they both got says all you need to know about their contribution to the Cobblers cause, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think look, you've got to take the three of them who started, the three loans who started today, in terms of them three who we brought in January, the contribution to us getting to where we are has been fantastic, and I'm delighted with all three of them. I think I've spoke with them all and thanked them for the time here, and hopefully it's we might see them back here next year, but if not, we have to find the next one. The next one to come. So it's just work for us, but it's not work. It's work I'm looking forward to, and that's what we're here for. We've built a good relationship now with Forest. We've got a really good one with Burnley. We're building relationships with them clubs to make sure that we get all the best young talent and hopefully able to be part of their development. And I think them three coming, they'll go back to the parent clubs a better player.
Okay, well, good luck over the next few days with all these discussions. It's going to be, when you first came in, you hardly slept at all. I guess there won't be too much sleep for you over the next few days.
No, listen, I'm going to enjoy it. We've got a lovely day tomorrow with all the staff, all the teams within Northampton. A lot of the sponsors are going to be there, the fans.
This is at the end of the season.
At the end of the season, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that and mingling with everyone and being able to enjoy it and have a beer. And then, as I said, we'll be starting our discussions then and after that. And yeah, look, this team deserve that. They deserve them nights. All the teams who are going to be there tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. And I thank the fans again. Tim, they do excellent today, and it's so nice to see them. And lots of nice messages from them, lots of nice compliments for the position we're in. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy the next 24 hours certainly, and then then it's back down to business.
Good stuff. Thanks, Gavin.